You take the clothes off my back, and I'd let you. You'd steal the food right out my mouth, and I'd watch you eat it. I still don't know why I love you so much. Oh.
Welcome to In the Paint with Cameron and Jordan. I am Cameron today, along with Jordan Hunter, and yes, it's finally the NBA season, and finally we're going to do a show during the NBA season, something that we've been looking forward to. We've been talking so much in the offseason, and finally, after all of this, after the Derrick Rose talk, Bynum, everything over the course of the offseason, we're finally here getting to actual action. Jordan, just your quick impressions on the NBA and the quality of play here so far.
I think the quality is great. Like all these guys are playing hard. It's actually competitive. You wouldn't think that teams like Charlotte could be contesting against Houston until the last 5 minutes of the game, or that they could even beat Cleveland, who was a playoff hopeful. So I think this league is much more competitive. It's more fun to watch. I loved watching Brooklyn and Miami, and I loved watching Paul Pierce get fired up after he blocked LeBron. I know he doesn't like LeBron. I know Garnett doesn't like LeBron. So I think it's good season so far. First couple of days have been good. What do you think?
I agree. I've loved the action so far in the NBA. I feel like some of these teams, I feel like the top contenders, though, are not looking as good as people were saying early on in the offseason, like us. Like, me coming out with a bold Clippers going to the NBA Finals prediction. I mean, it's not looking like that right now. Maybe, the adjustment. Brooklyn's looking like the 2011 Miami Heat a little bit. They're a little discombobulated offensively. ISO Joe trying to avoid those bad demons coming back to him with going ISO all the time. So first, I know you want to get to the surprising performances of the week. A lot of surprising performances of the week. Who do you have?
My surprising performance, actually, it's going to go to Xavier Henry of the Los Angeles Lakers. A career-high 22 points off the bench to lead them to a win against their division rivals, the Clippers. I mean, come on. Give him some love, Cameron.
No.
Off the bench. No one thought he would go anywhere with his life. Look where he is now.
Okay. I agree with you. I think he's one of the surprising performances. He's done such a great job. But a guy that tops him, Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe, because you look at the guy, the first game of the year with a new head coach. Many people think they could be the worst team in the league. You got Jeff Hornacek, who's a really good head coach. Scola is gone. So you got PJ, I foul everybody, Tucker. And then you got all these guys. You come into this game with Dragic. You feel like you have no hope against Damian Lillard-led Portland. And you shock everybody. And Eric Bledsoe, every single time Portland tried to make a comeback, Eric Bledsoe would make the stop. Eric Bledsoe would make the play. Eric Bledsoe would set up the offense. Eric Bledsoe dominated the tempo of the game, something that he's never been known for. So for him to do all these things shows me he's improved so much in the offseason. Now, he and company in the way they've been playing, they're the best team in the Pacific Division standings wise. They are the best team in the Pacific Division. They are looking good. You know what? If they play like this, they'll make the playoffs.
Cameron,
it's true. If they play like this.
Be realistic. I think they'll fall sometimes. They're going to fall and they're going to lose games that they should have won. And the only bright spot I see is a combo of Dragic and Bledsoe. I think that's going to work out. very well for the Phoenix Suns. I mean, Bledsoe with 22 on that night, Dragic with 26. And it's proven that they can play together in the backcourt. So, playoffs, I see them at about maybe the 14th seed.
But if they play like this, I'm not saying I think you're right. Deep down, you're absolutely right. But if this team plays the way it's been playing, I think definitely they can make the playoffs. If they're playing like this, I'm saying consistently, maybe they might go away from it.
They have a lack of talent, don't you think? Especially
I agree, but
with their bigs. Mason Plumlee? Come on. You're putting all your bank in Mason Plumlee.
No.
They're not even using Alex Len right. They're not using him correctly.
Well, PJ Tucker looks revived. I don't know about you. I don't know what PJ Tucker's doing. I don't know what he's doing, but he looks revived. I don't know, that jump shot, it looks better, more in rhythm. I have no idea what PJ Tucker has done with himself. You just look at this team and I can't believe what they've done. You're not surprised at all that they're 2-0 and they're the number one team in the Pacific Division after 2 games.
Surprised. I didn't think they'd beat Portland or Utah. That was a great game.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I thought they started off 0-2, to be quite honest. It's a surprise.
Yeah. All right, so speaking, of a team, unfortunately for the Celtics, oh my God. We were just talking about how great the Suns are and how young they are and how they really believe in each other. Well, that's what I'm saying. But Gerald Wallace says guys are just padding up their stats and that they're not really playing team basketball. I'm going to read this quote right here. "We got selfish. Instead of worrying about winning the ball game, we were more worried about our stats and getting points. It showed. We went from a team that was together and moving and playing together in the first half to a team that was 5 individuals out on the court, everyone playing for themselves, and it showed on the defensive end." And then he goes on to saying that he didn't have a clue why this was going on and all that. Does Gerald Wallace want out in Boston?
I think it's too early to say he wants out, but I definitely think he feels he's a leader of the team and he should be able to speak out. I watched that game against Milwaukee. Milwaukee is supposed to be one of the worst teams. They're supposed to be the trash of the Eastern Conference. And Boston had a 20-point lead and they let Milwaukee come back.
Exactly.
I think Avery Bradley's trying to pad his stats. I think the only true players on their team are guys like Brandon Bass, Gerald Wallace, and Jeff Green. Those guys are actually trying to win games and trying to have a decent record so when their superstar Rondo comes back, maybe they'll squeak into the playoffs. I don't know, but I agree with Gerald Wallace. I don't think he wants out, though. I think he just wants his team to play harder. I know he feels like he's the veteran, vocal leader of the team, so I think he has a right to say that. But, you never know what's going to happen. I think Boston, they're a question mark. They lost. They've already lost some games they should have won. So they're probably going to win some games that they shouldn't win. I could see that in the future. So, Gerald Wallace, it's good that he spoke out because I don't think Brad Stevens would have. So, yeah, I like it. I like that move by Gerald Wallace. I
totally agree with you there. I just don't understand how any team in the world can be up by 20 and lose. I mean, you can't. Well, exactly. I mean, first of all, the first game of the year, I'm sidetracking here, but why in the world were the Bucks in that game against the Knicks? I don't even know how close.
Yeah, the Bucks. They may surprise some teams. I know it's all about getting the W, but it's also about Charlotte. They lost to Houston by 11, but they played like they were in the game the whole time. So development is also key to look at when you see the end of the game. They may lose by 12, but they were with them throughout the first 42 minutes of the game. So Milwaukee, I don't think they're going anywhere, but they'll win some games that are going to surprise the world.
I mean, again, I'm really surprised with Boston though because you have a guy in Brad Stevens who stresses. He doesn't just say, "Oh, guys, let's play unselfish so we look good and everybody just claps." No, he stresses and stresses unselfish play. I'm going to take Gerald Wallace's word. I really believe in what Wallace has to say because you can't just be up by... There's only two ways you can lose when you're up by 20 in this world. You can either be selfish and pad your stats, which Gerald said, or you play conservative. It's one of those two things. It's not... There's nothing else that I can think of. And you know what? I think Gerald has a point.
Yeah, I do too. I think he has a point. So while we were just talking about surprise performances, I'm going to throw in Michael Carter Williams.
Oh no!
Out of Syracuse in 36 minutes, 22 points, 12 assists, 7 rebounds, and 9 steals. Cameron, I know you criticized Michael Carter Williams before the season. Do you have anything to say on that great performance in a win over the Miami Heat?
I'm going to apologize to Michael Carter Williams for saying all those things because, I mean, we made fun of the 76ers, Brick City. I want to, like I even said, I want to see a 3-point shootout with Tony Roten and Michael Carter Williams. But I just, there's nothing to say. He did absolutely a great job. You can tell he's improved his jump shot ever since college. So he's a great defensive player. He's always been a great defensive player. A lot of people would give him, say he's not a good defensive player in Syracuse, but that's not true. He was a good zone defender. He's a good man-to-man defender even now. So, you know what, Michael Carter Williams? Thank you for proving me wrong and other people, and I hope you do great things in Philly land, and I hope the 76ers have a great year. They really outplayed Miami because Miami took a night off, but they did a great job. They did a great job.
26-6 in the first quarter. I thought they'd come back because it's Miami, and I think Philadelphia did play conservative in that second and third quarters. But Philly, a team that was projected to win they're projected to win about 16 games, are already 2-0.
That's stunning. I mean, only if they go on this like huge 25 game losing streak. I mean, I hope not. But you know what? I want to ask you this. Okay, we've got the 76ers who are 2-0. We've got the Suns who are 2-0. But we have the Clippers who they've already lost a game. We have the Pelicans who are 0-2, which we'll talk about later. So, is this just early season surprises and just teams not getting used to each other, or is this something, or are these 2-0 teams really that good?
I mean, in some cases, I think it's just early jitters. These guys waited a while for the season, new faces on their team. They're not able to gel as well as they should, but so I don't think there are any 2-0 teams that you would think like Philadelphia or Phoenix. I don't think they're legit. Minnesota, they're 2-0. I think they're a legit team. They have enough talent to maybe even make it to the Western Conference Finals if they play their cards right, if everyone is gelling, if everyone's clicking, if Pekovic is giving you double-doubles, Love's giving you 25 and 10, Martin's giving you 17, Rubio's giving you a double-double, their bench plays well. Teams like that, they can really make it far. Now, a team that you had high hopes for, the Denver Nuggets, are 0-2.
I'm stunned.
You said they could make the playoffs.
I'm stunned. I'm not just stunned, I'm angered at them, and it's agitating. How can you... I think Brian Shaw, and whatever anybody else is, I think Brian Shaw is the best new young coach who just got hired. Out of all the 13 coaches, I think he's the best one. How in the world can they be 0-2? I get it, their roster's a little different.
It's a little thin.
You can't lose to Sacramento. Oh my goodness. You did such a good job. Even Dallas. How did they lose against Dallas? I mean, You got Ty Lawson, who's a top 10 point guard. You got
No.
you got McGee. Okay, fine, top 15. You got
Yeah,
McGee. You got
McGee, come on.
McGee's a great athletic center. You got
But,
Fournier, who can rain it from downtown. Jordan Hamilton.
oh my God.
Hickson, all
Throw
energy.
names out. What about Nate Robinson?
Nate. I'm getting there. Nate Robinson, sixth. He has the possibility of being sixth man of the year. He. You're gonna tell me that they lose. Okay, Dallas maybe because
They lost to Portland. They didn't lose to Dallas.
Oh, my bad. I thought I was.
They had Portland. They came back on like a 26 to
Okay.
to 6 to 11 run, and then Portland just went away with it.
Okay, in a 7-game series, do you think that Denver can beat Sacramento and Denver can beat Portland? If it was a 7-game series.
I think they could beat Sacramento, but Portland would be a question mark.
You don't think they can beat Portland? You don't
I don't. I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge had an off night.
Okay.
So I think Portland's a good team.
They are, but you think they're better than Denver?
But if you're putting this in April when they have Gallinari back, then no, I think Denver will.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Denver's better than Portland with their good team.
Yeah, I mean, I just Portland's a good team, but I'm just so angry. I'm just so disappointed. Are you disappointed at any of the teams in the league right now?
I wouldn't say I'm disappointed in Miami. I think they did take a night off. You know, I'm disappointed in the Pelicans losing 2 games. I mean, first of all, now I understand losing to Indiana. Indiana's a good team.
They should have won that game. Ultimately, if you saw that game, they should have even won that. I'm surprised they lost that. Indiana's a great team, but they still lost with the lead.
They lost to Orlando also.
Oh my goodness.
Orlando, they're trying to tank the season to get Andrew Wiggins. How are you going to lose to a team like that? Cameron, I think you're right. This Pelicans team is the San Francisco Pro-Am team.
Okay, first of all, just want to share this real quick. I am going to a Pelicans game. I'm not kidding. I'm actually going to a Pelicans game. No, I'm not kidding. This is true. I'm not kidding. Second of all, I'm stunned. You're up against Indiana. Indiana's a great team, okay? I can understand how they come back. But tank for Wiggins, they shouldn't even be called Orlando Magic anymore. They should just be called tank for Wiggins because that's all the Magic are doing. And then you lose to a team that's tanking. You got Drew Holiday's been playing out of his mind. But Eric Gordon, stop being a gunner. Tyreek Evans, stop Euro-stepping over, trying to Euro-step past everybody in the world. You got Anthony Davis inside. Pass it in for once. Can you drop it off into him? Every time I see Eric Gordon on a pick and roll or Tyreek Evans, they get double team off a pick and roll. Anthony Davis is screaming for the basketball, but instead they feel like they need to chuck up a 25-footer or split the double team when Euro step their way to the basket. Stop, Eric Gordon. Stop, Tyreek Evans. You're making the world go crazy right now because you're 0-2.
So, Cameron, with you just saying that, do you see a trade in their future? Do you see him? I don't think they trade away Tyreek. They just got him. Do you see them trading Eric Gordon? They just got Drew Holiday. They wouldn't trade him. Do you see them making any deals?
I think you know what? I think it's a big possibility if they could trade Eric Gordon for a draft pick. Do you think they could get something in the draft? If they traded Eric Gordon, you think they could get a first-round pick for this year?
Yeah, definitely. Eric Gordon.
Would you do it? Would you do it?
No, I wouldn't. I would keep Eric Gordon. I think the Pelicans. Well, they got to get Ryan Anderson back. Ryan Anderson is a part of because without Ryan Anderson, Tyreek Evans is pressured to be the only guy off the bench to produce. With Ryan Anderson, you got another shooter, another gunner, another guy play offense with no defense. They have too many of those players. They have too many guys who only play offense. Tyreek, you got Ryan Anderson, you got Brian Roberts who comes off the bench for Drew Holiday. Bunch of guys who don't commit to defense. Monty Williams needs to instill the defense in his bench.
I think, you know what? Monty Williams should just have a whole defensive practice. Not even bring a basketball out on the floor. Just do defensive slides with the entire practice. It's just embarrassing sometimes with Tyreek Evans playing defense. I'm surprised that Tyreek Evans hasn't gotten crossed up more times versus Pee Wee Gardner, because if he can't guard Pee Wee Gardner, how can he guard NBA players? This is embarrassing on the Pelicans' part. They need to learn how to play defense. It's funny. They are a team that's so great offensively. Do you know how much talent it takes to play offense? Defense is such a simple concept, but they just can't grasp it. What's the problem?
Oh, gosh. That is true about the Pelicans. Cameron, I want to bring something up. Derrick Rose, 11 of 38 in the first two games. Is this slow start? Do you think he's just because he hasn't played in a year and a half? Or do you think it's actually something that's going to need to be addressed?
No, I think he'll be okay. He's played against some tough defenses. Miami.
Knicks defense?
Knicks.
I think you're right. Tyson Chandler in the middle.
Yeah, let's face it. Rose, he attacks the rim well, and Chandler, he's a difference maker inside. So, I think that's pretty big. You look at Rose, he's going to have some easy opponents to face. He's going to face Orlando a few times, drop 45. So, I think he'll be back into form. He'll face some Western Conference teams that'll go up and down. He could drop 30.
Pelicans.
He can definitely drop 30 on the Pelicans. But he'll be back in form. It's still early. If this continues into April, May, then there's problems. But I think he'll be okay. You seem fired up about it. I don't know if you're...
I think he's gonna be just fine.
Okay.
I don't think he's the best point guard anymore. I think Chris Paul is the best point guard in the league. But I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be back to averaging maybe I'd say about 23 points, maybe about 6 assists.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And the thing though, even though Rose has struggled, he did hit the game winner against the Knicks, but his struggles though, it's where they are right now is way better than last year, because Rose takes the pressure offensively off Luol Deng trying to be too much of a playmaker. So, and Jimmy Butler's trying to have to carry that role. So Derrick Rose really helps the offensive responsibilities. Let's go. I want to move on to Chris Paul real quick, because you mentioned him. Chris Paul, he's been ripping it apart against the Sacramento Kings, against the Warriors. The Lakers, not so much, but against the Kings and Warriors, he's basically ripped it apart. Do you think this is a sign? Do you think he's going to put up the same type of performances in the playoffs, or do you think this is fluky?
I think Chris Paul can do. I think he can do this every night. But he hasn't had to face very good defensive guards. The West is filled with defensive guards. He just hasn't had to face anyone. He had to face Steph Curry, who, let's just say this, he doesn't play defense.
That's true. That's true.
And he had to face against Isaiah Thomas.
He plays good D sometimes.
Isaiah Thomas he's a good defender, but I don't know. I think Chris Paul can put up those 30s and 30 points, 12 assists, 6 steals. I think he could do that every night because his team is just so talented that he doesn't have to focus on scoring, but he can, and he's showing us that he can. He's got Blake Griffin. He's got DeAndre Jordan, J.J. Redick.
Do you think...
And one thing they're saying is Doc Rivers is using J.J. Redick kind of as he used Ray Allen and bringing him off the screens
Yeah.
for those quick shots.
What do you think about that Rivers and Chris Paul relationship? Because you know what? I was really impressed with Doc Rivers. It was against the Warriors, and they're having a tough offensive stretch in the beginning of the third quarter. And the ball was sticking, as they say. Like, they weren't really moving the ball, and their offense was out of sync. And Doc Rivers was yelling and screaming. He was irate. He kind of even yelled at Chris Paul. Do you think that Doc Rivers needs to go to extreme measures to help the Clippers snap out of their bad habits offensively?
No, I don't think so. I think they'll be able to learn on their own. I think Chris Paul will be vocal. Blake Griffin's got to be vocal. They've got a good core unit. It's just they got to be able to put it together and just stop making so many, little mistakes that could end up costing them games late in the season or even in the playoffs. So I think they're good. I want to talk about last night's Brooklyn-Miami game. It was closer than I thought it would be. Miami came back. Brooklyn was controlling the game. Brooklyn was controlling the game the whole time, no doubt. They were controlling the tempo. They were controlling the defense. Their defense was good. Their ball movement was good. So, Cameron, what would you say about that game? Do you think, this is going to be a testament to how good Brooklyn is and how good Miami is, or do you think it was one game, they'll play each other again and Miami will win it?
I think they'll split it. I feel like Miami's really playing poor basketball because they just flat out. I feel like they're in the fat cat syndrome, like Shaq says. Shaq has said on TNT that when he was on the Lakers and they were three-peating, that sometimes the regular season would be boring or they would not enjoy the regular season as much as the playoffs because they kind of felt it was meaningless. I think Miami is feeling that right now. Do you see the same thing I'm seeing?
Yeah, it feels like they're taking nights off.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, they took that night off. Against Brooklyn, they probably took the first couple quarters off until they started turning it up in the third and fourth. But yeah, I see the fat cat syndrome, not playing. They got to play hard every game. So right now, I don't think they're guaranteed the number one seed.
You don't think so?
No, if you want to make it to the NBA Finals, the best chance is for you to get that number one seed. That is the best chance because you get the easiest road. If they get the number 2 seed, they're going to end up probably having to face maybe a Brooklyn or Indiana, and you don't want to have to face them in the second round. That's why you get that number 1 seed. You can coast and just play like a New York Knicks or a Detroit and just sweep them.
I don't think they could play. Okay, you know what? This is going to be the hardest year for Miami, I think, ever. Because, first of all, you got Greg Oden, Miller is gone, and then, they've gotten a year older. They've had to go through the June thing 3 times. Because, again, if you go back to the 2011 finals, so they've had to go through this. They've had to go through this process 3 hard, long times. And for them, I don't think the first round will be as easy. I don't think they'll sweep. Let's think about it. The only team I think they could sweep is possibly New York. But if they face Cleveland in the first round, that could go 6 games.
It could. Bynum's going to be healthy by then.
Yeah, so...
It could go 6, you're right.
So, maybe even 7. If Bynum's dominating, 7.
Yeah. If Bynum can go back to that second-best center in the league status he was 2 years ago, they're a scary team.
I think Miami this year might have to go 7 games, 7 games, 7 games, 7 games. Because there are just too many competitive teams out there.
But I think with them doing that, I don't think they'll make it to the NBA Finals with them. If they say they get the number 1 seed, Cleveland takes them to 6.
Yeah.
Okay, they're probably going to end up facing, say, the winner of the 4 and 5 So probably a Chicago.
Oh, no, you think Chicago's all the way to the 4th? I think Chicago's 2nd or 3rd.
I don't know. I don't think Chicago's gonna have that good of
I
a
think
record.
Brooklyn's going to go 4th or 5th.
Brooklyn.
Yes. I think
Oh my
the
goodness.
top 3 teams in the East are Miami, Indiana, and Chicago.
You wouldn't put Brooklyn ahead of Chicago.
No.
Why not?
You know what? This has been the biggest debate. You know what? Let's have it right now. Let's have the
Let's
debate.
do it.
Okay. Brooklyn, to me, they have to go through chemistry. They got some chemistry issues that they've got to work out. You would agree with that. The first game against Cleveland, that was shaky. That was very shaky. Second game against Miami, that was kind of shaky too.
Oh,
And,
come on.
well, in a way it was. You could say in a way because, again, I see their old ways coming back and haunting them. And you only really have Kevin Garnett for this year. He might retire after this year.
That's true.
And he's on his last, talk about last miles.
Yeah,
Paul
you
Pierce.
can't play him any less minutes. He's already playing him like 20 minutes, and he's a starter, so this might be his last year.
And if Paul Pierce, God forbid, if he falls down with an injury, he's done. And then what do you have?
I just think they're. I don't see Chicago beating them though.
I really do. I think defensively they can shut them down. I think Joakim Noah, when healthy, when the Bulls are healthy, they can really shut down the interior of Brooklyn. I think they could surprise you. I really think they could surprise you.
I think I agree with you. Chicago's they're a really good defensive team under Tom Thibodeau, but I don't know if they have enough. Do they have enough offensive weapons? Like I agree with you. Like they match up well defensively. Derrick Rose guarding Darren Williams and Jimmy Butler shutting down Joe Johnson. Luol Deng sticking Paul Pierce and then that interior of Boozer and. But I don't know if Boozer and Joakim could contain Brook Lopez and Kevin Garnett. That inside-out game that they were working on against the Heat. I don't know if the Bulls can contain that.
Here's the thing. If Brooklyn goes away from the inside out, they're done. They're not going to go past the first round.
What?
Yeah. Remember when I said they should go through Brook Lopez? Like I was saying it like it was a song. Go through Brook Lopez. Like crazy, right? I was repeating it like 10 times. If they don't go through Brook Lopez inside and he's the main focal point of the offense, they're not going to go past the first round. You would agree. But if they do use Brook Lopez, they could make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think there's a huge drop between the top 4 teams and the Detroits, the Clevelands, the Knicks. I think there's a huge drop. Like I think the Nets are now significantly better than the Knicks.
You don't think Detroit or Cleveland could upset somebody in the first round?
I don't think Detroit. No, Detroit is too toxic to me. Detroit has too many problems. You'll get to your.
Oh yeah, I'm fired up about that. I'm really fired up about that. But
I think I know why Monroe is mad is because Joe Dumars said that Drummond is their focal point. He didn't say anything about Monroe, so I think Monroe's a little fired up about that. So I think whenever Drummond does something bad, he's gonna get a little mad. But what do you have to say about that feud that started last night with the Memphis against the Detroit game in Memphis last night?
All right, this is probably I'm gonna get really heated. First of all, Drummond is my fantasy basketball player, but I'm gonna take that away and just look at it from like with objectivity. You look at yesterday's game, and it was against the Grizzlies, which is a great opponent. Grizzlies made it to the Western Conference Finals. They're always great. Pistons had a good, solid lead. Grizzlies come back, right? Marc Gasol, there are 2 late game plays. Drummond had some defensive mishaps the last 2 plays of the game, okay? of the fourth quarter and then overtime, he had some mishaps. The thing that angers me and that really ticks me off is when Monroe is yelling and screaming at his teammates. And you know what? I think he almost pointed the finger at one of his teammates saying, hey, it's your fault. Monroe, this is a team. You can't blame other people. Stop blaming Drummond. You should have been there on the weak side, Hope. You should have helped out. Stop blaming others and play basketball. What are you doing? And then, Drummond, he should have done better. But Drummond outplayed you, Monroe. Look at the stats. Drummond had 22 and 16. You couldn't even get 10 rebounds last night. Stop talking trash on Andre Drummond and the team. Be a collective unit and stay composed. The one thing that will hurt the Detroit Pistons, their ego stands in the way and their composure stands in the way from going far as an organization. And if Monroe doesn't understand that, he will go through lots and lots of trouble in Detroit.
Cameron, you know what I say right now, though? I say trade him. I really
What?
say, I mean, yeah, put Josh Smith back at the power forward. 'Cause I don't
Okay.
think the small forward works for him. And if you do that, remember, they're missing Brandon Jennings. Everyone forgets that
That's
he's out.
true.
He's out with this tooth injury. They're missing him. So we know Chauncey Billups has said he doesn't like playing the shooting guard position, but we all know Brandon Jennings is not going to come off the bench.
Yeah.
That's not happening. So sorry, Chauncey, you're coming off the bench. You're going to have to start playing the shooting guard position. I'd say, you know what I'd say? Trade Monroe for a young small forward. Trade Monroe for like a Tobias Harris and
No.
maybe a first round pick.
I got such a good one. Straight up. Just straight up. Trade Monroe for Ilyasova. Or Batum.
Ooh.
How much?
Ilyasova
Think about that.
wasn't talented enough. I don't think you need another power forward.
No.
I like
Ilyasova
the
can play
Batum
small forward.
Huh?
Ilyasova can play small forward.
But not defensively. I like that. Not defensively. He's a liability, but I like the Batum because in return, Portland gets Drummond. He gets Monroe, and Monroe can play the center. I mean, he doesn't like to, but he can play the center.
Well, he's going to be forced to, or else he's going to get kicked out of the league. He better like something.
You know what else? You know what else I like about that with Batum? Batum kind of brings that Tayshaun Prince kind of feeling back to Detroit. He's a long defender. He can shoot the three. He can do so many things well. So I think that's a good trade. We may need to call the Detroit front office or call Joe Dumars to see if that can get established before the trade deadline.
Okay, first of all, if there's actually a feud, which I don't think there will be. I don't think it'll be like Kobe and Shaq, where Kobe calls Shaq fat, Shaq calls Kobe, he says your legs are too weak or whatever, that nonsense that happened over there in 2004, and then Karl Malone's girlfriend and all that. Okay, that's not going to happen. But if there's tension, trade him. For Batum, straight up. But I'm not seeing a little Shaq, Kobe, Karl Malone type thing going on. You know what? I know this sounds very evil of me to say this. I'm kind of missing a little of a Shaq-Kobe feud in this league.
No, but why would you want feud between two teammates?
I just think I thought that was, to me, if you think about it, the highest ratings for basketball was the Shaq-Kobe feud. More people tuned in for the Shaq-Kobe show, where they would go at each other's throats and, not pass the ball to each other and take it upon themselves to try to carry the Lakers, which was pretty hilarious. But I don't know. Go ahead.
The league is missing an off-court type of head case, like a Latrell Sprewell, something to stir up the media off when they're not playing basketball. Someone just to get the media talking. A crazy guy, basically.
We have too many nice guys in the league. We don't have enough feuds. We don't have enough problems. What happened in the early 2000s when everything was a problem?
I don't know. Those were the good old days.
Yeah.
The good days when people were fighting with their own teammates.
Oh God.
So Cameron, the next thing I want to talk about is the Minnesota Timberwolves surprising 100-81 victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Did you see that coming?
No. And I'm a big Oklahoma City critic. I love the Timberwolves, but I just thought that talent-wise, I don't know if they could have defensively stayed with Kevin Durant, but this team, I talk about Nikola Pekovic a lot and how great he is. Kevin Love, Rubio, really showing...
The best three people got double-doubles.
Exactly. I feel like this team is perfectly set, good depth, and it just comes down to health. If they are 100% healthy throughout the season, they're easily making the playoffs.
Yeah, I see that. Maybe I actually could see them maybe in the first round playing like, cause people are saying, oh, Clippers #1 seed. People are like just neglecting San Antonio, but I could see San Antonio against Minnesota as like a 2-7 seed.
I can see Minnesota shocking them.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that too. I could see just Love going crazy on the boards.
With an unhealthy Duncan, maybe. If the Spurs are unhealthy going into the playoffs, and they're facing Minnesota, Minnesota's all healthy, I'm going upset there. I'm going upset.
So I know we made some preseason predictions about the Pelicans. Do you still put the Pelicans in that playoff picture talk, or no? Is it too early?
You know what? I'm gonna give the Pelicans the benefit of the doubt, and then we should revisit this after 25 games.
Yeah, in 25 games.
We could tell after 25 games.
If they're below 500, I don't think they're gonna make it. If they're 12 and if they're like 12 and 13 maybe, but if they're like 8 and 17, no. This league the West is too good to be crawling out of a hole like that. So I don't know. They're the pro-am team.
Yeah, but they do break people's ankles and they Euro step over everybody. Hey, it's fun. You know how we have NBA League Pass free preview? But then, well, after that, I'm going to go to NBA TV and watch the live look-ins, and I'll see more Pelican stuff there. But I was, like, flipping through, and I'm like, all right, let's see some Pelicans. Let's see Pelicans-Pacers. And Tyreek's in the game. You know, he gets a high screen and roll. He just flat out makes the most beautiful Euro step I've ever seen in my life. And I got to say this. I love Euro steps, but I don't know if they're going to get to the playoffs by Euros. Can they Euro step their way to the playoffs?
Can the Pelicans Euro step their way to the NBA playoffs?
That's what it comes down. You know what? Saku Smith should make a blog. You know how he puts like a question and then he answers it like in a whole blog?
Yeah, the blog tables.
Yeah. Can the Pelicans Euro step their way to the playoffs? That should be a headline. I think it would be a great headline. But seriously, like honestly, I feel like they don't involve Anthony Davis more.
Yeah. This league is really... A big man's presence can make or break it. Like you said, the Nets, it's going to be about Brook Lopez. Same thing with the Pelicans. Same thing with teams like the Pelicans, the Kings. It's going to be about your dominating power forward / center. You already have good guards. You already have Drew Holiday, Eric Gordon, Tyreek Evans.
Yeah.
Guys who can mix people up. But mixing people and breaking ankles will not get you far in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, because you have great perimeter defenders.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you got guys like, I mean, even Reddick's a good defender. I mean, Reddick, I just thought just came up to the top of my head, but you got Iguodala who he blankets over everybody. He just shuts you down. He says, I'm going to guard you today for 48 minutes, and I'm just going to flat out shut you down. That's what Iguodala does. You look, and the thing with the Pelicans is what they don't understand is, if you throw it into Anthony Davis is unselfish enough to give it right back to you.
Yeah.
So, it's not like Anthony Davis is like Shaq and says, hey guys, I'm not going to follow the offense. Screw you, Phil Jackson. I'm going to do whatever I want. That's not what it is. Anthony Davis is a good passer, and he'll give you the ball back. So, dump it inside and cut off him, or when they double, hit your threes, get to the cup. That's all it comes down to for the Pelicans.
So I just want to say two quick things. Currently, the Pelicans are beating the Bobcats 45-27, with Anthony Davis having 14 points and 5 rebounds. So I think they're taking what you're saying to heart and actually using it.
Well,
going back to the Warriors, I was reading Bleacher Report, and they were having a discussion on whether or not who should come off the bench, Klay Thompson or Harrison Barnes. What do you think about that? Who should come off the bench? Who should be the sixth man for them?
Harrison Barnes, because I think Klay Thompson is really... I think with Harrison Barnes, no disrespect to him, and he's a great player, but I don't think he stretches the floor enough that Klay Thompson does. With Klay Thompson, you can't even play help defense. Just think about it. You gotta cover this guy like crazy. You can't play help defense because he's gonna burn you with the three. So, I think in the playoffs, Klay Thompson needs to be playing the most minutes. By the way, we got a Warriors guy on, Robert here. Robert, do you want to say something about the Warriors? I knew you were gonna call.
Yeah, Doug Cameron and Miriam Garrett, and you gotta talk about the six-man situation. I look at this team. Their starting five is amazing, but their bench stinks. Period. That's what losing Jared Jack and Carl Landry. You see how much hurts the Warriors at this point. The starters really have to put in a lot of effort, but if you had to say the six-man, I think Harrison Barnes. I think he's more explosive when you bring him off the bench. Klay Thompson's had some great games. His first game of the season, 38 points. I don't want to see him coming off the bench. I'd rather him start right now. Andre Iguodala is fitting well with this team. You see Andrew Bogut, he's a monster. I mean, watching the Clippers or Warriors game, you probably saw the fight, the pushback for Andrew Bogut.
Yeah.
That was a really good game I got to watch. And, I look at Steph Curry right now, and, everyone has high expectations for this guy, and he still does. But he's going to be guarded really well. I think everyone's just figuring out Stephen Curry at this point.
Yeah, I think you mentioned some great points, Robert. Do you have something to say, Jordan?
I was going to say, I like that Andrew Bogut did push DeAndre Jordan back. I mean, you don't want to be a pushover. You don't want to just, let him push me. No. They are saying this is going to be one of the hottest rivalries. Golden State and the LA Clippers, hottest rivalry. It's been happening for the last couple years. It started off with David Lee against Griffin, and now it's just expanding to the whole team. It's infectious. I think this is going to be a battle of the top two Pacific Division teams.
Well said, Robert. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, you make a good point. This is a really good rivalry, and the Warriors did win the rivalry last year, but these two teams are hot right now. The Clippers made more activations over the free agency time period. The Warriors did a little bit, but not a lot, I would say, because they didn't really get, a top guy to come off the bench for this team. But, I mean, when, you bring in Andre Iguodala, you have Harrison Barnes that is probably going to be coming off the bench to be explosive, but they don't have really that other second guy. It's like, how we had Jared Jack and Carl Landry coming off the bench. It's like Harrison Barnes is the only person I can actually see making contribute off the bench.
What about Jermaine O'Neal?
My question to both of you is, I mean, what else is this? What else do the Warriors have on the bench that's really going to help out? I don't see Jermaine O'Neal doing anything.
I think
O'Neal is quality off the bench. He's a veteran.
he's a good. He can be a little bit of a liability on defense, but I think offensively he can do some good things with that little turnaround jump shot. I mean, he's
Draymond
not.
Green.
To me, Draymond Green, but I think Draymond Green can't really carry the load offensively.
No, he can't.
So, Robert, anything else, or can we're gonna keep going with this. If you want to comment, if anybody wants to comment, go right ahead. Here, just click on the green bubble and go right ahead. Robert, we're going to go, but thanks for calling in.
Hey, thanks, Cameron Jordan, and keep on having a good show, man.
Thanks. Okay, I think, what do you think about Jermaine O'Neal, real quick? Let's talk about that.
I mean, yeah, you're not going to expect a bunch out of him. He's kind of just staying there until Festus Ezeli comes back off injury. It's true, he's a placeholder.
That's mean. Placeholder.
You think he's going to play when Ezeli's ready?
No, I agree with you. I think that this is Jermaine O'Neal's last year in his career. You think?
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. So, Cameron, would you like to do any, before the Houston-Utah game starts, want to do tonight's predictions and tomorrow's predictions?
Yeah, let's go right ahead.
So, Houston at Utah Energy Solutions Arena. Who's winning that one?
Houston by 20.
Oh, my.
Hey,
Okay.
you agree with me?
I agree with you.
Oh, okay. Look, I mean, first of all, I love Enes Kanter. He's one of my favorite players because he's on my fantasy team. But God bless him, because how are you going to control that beast, that man-child, Dwight Howard? I don't know how he's going to do it. God, please help Enes Kanter. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, what about I think Derek Favors could maybe stop Dwight. Derek Favors...
Stop Dwight?
Okay, not stop him, but maybe slow him down.
Okay, I agree, but...
Favors is good. He's averaging 14.5 points a game so far.
I don't... yeah, I mean... But who's going to contain Harden out there raining threes?
Oh, come on. Gordon Hayward. Come on, where's your faith? Gordon Hayward.
Okay. You know what? You're right. What about in the pick and roll where it's Harden and Dwight, but they got Chandler in the corner for three?
Oh, yeah, there's... well, Richard Jefferson can't do anything. So, moving on, San Antonio at Portland. Who's got that one?
I'm going to go San Antonio by 5. What about you? What about you?
Yeah, I was going to say something. I wouldn't say 5, but... Rose Garden is always loud. San Antonio's coming to town. Maybe sold out. Depending on if Tim Duncan plays. If Tim Duncan doesn't play, Portland's going to win the game, in my opinion.
Okay.
If Tim Duncan does play, I think San Antonio will win by maybe 8 or 9. Okay. Sacramento Kings traveling to Golden State to face the Warriors. I have a surprise prediction, but what do you have to say?
If the Golden State Warriors can beat the Lakers by 30, and I saw that game, I wasted 3 hours of my life, but that's okay. But no. I actually loved that. Actually, I saw 3 hours of the most beautiful jump shooting I've ever seen in my life. So never mind. But I gotta say this: the Lakers are better than the Kings. So, if the Warriors don't win by 40 tonight, if the Kings win today, I will apologize to all Kings fans, including James McDaniel.
Okay, so, I was gonna agree with you with the Warriors winning. I think it's gonna be close. I mean, the bench for the Warriors, Harrison Barnes, isn't back yet.
But, okay.
I think DeMarcus is gonna have a beast game against Bogut.
Against Bogut? Okay,
yes,
look at the two. Let's look at the two last centers that Cousins has been playing against. Okay, DeAndre Jordan.
Good Good defender.
Okay, yeah, great defender, actually.
Actually, I think he's just a good shot blocker. I don't think he's a good defender.
You know, that's a good point. I didn't really think about it that way. And JaVale McGee. Oh my god. No, I like JaVale, but he's trying to embrace this new role. So
that was just horrendous. JaVale McGee, DeMarcus Cousins was using every post move Shaq taught him, the bow in the butt. Oh my gosh, that was ugly.
Okay, what about... I think Bogut will wear him down offensively, because Bogut's a pretty good offensive player.
Yeah, he is. He has some nice moves around the rim. I think David Lee will have a good game. I think Curry will have a good game.
Here's the thing, though. You look at that game, though. The difference maker is Iguodala, because now Iguodala, I mean, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, they don't really even have to guard Isaiah Thomas. They could ask Iguodala to guard him because that's their best offensive player. Iguodala can shut down Thomas, and they can get a bunch of turnovers, get on the fast break, and pull up for 3 on 2-on-1 fast breaks.
But they bring Isaiah off the bench.
But
Kent Bazemore can stop him, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. Should we move on to Boston and Detroit tomorrow?
Boston, Detroit, in Detroit, I don't know. I'd go Detroit.
I love my Boston Celtics, but I am, after hearing what Gerald Wallace had to say, there's no iron team, and there's definitely, there's no way. I think Detroit's going to beat them by 20.
What?
Yeah, I really... Okay, when you're a competitor and you admit as a teammate that your teammates are cheating out on you and they're not willing to sacrifice their individual goals for the greater goal, that means your team is completely divided and completely... They're done. They've got nothing. Their locker room's divided. After hearing that, I mean... How could one really honestly say they'll be okay? They'll be okay. No, they won't be okay. I'm gonna go Boston losing by 20.
Okay, how about probably the best game of the kind of boring Sunday?
Yeah, it is a boring.
Minnesota, New York, in New York.
I'm gonna go Minnesota by 10.
That's fair.
I mean. It's just, I think Minnesota will take care of business, but I don't think it will be like, wow, here's Ricky Rubio with a triple-double. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's just going to be a game where they take care of business against a Knicks team that's, in my opinion, too old and too slow to catch up on transition defense.
Yeah, I don't see the Knicks as a team to really put your money on, because they're a question mark also. There are a lot of question marks in the league. They're just like, you don't know if they're gonna look. They barely beat the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, if they could barely beat the Bucks, then they've got some issues over there.
Yeah. Okay. Your Phoenix Suns.
Here we go.
Going to OKC. Who's got that one, Cameron?
I just want to say Phoenix, but you know what? No, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma City. It's going to be a close game. They only win by 8.
Yeah, I don't see OKC I don't see them... They're just not the same OKC team you've seen before, because they seem like they're lacking just spirit. Like, Durant had 13 points. Come on, in the game against Minnesota.
To me, again, I talk about their just lack of offensive movement. I think it's still a big problem.
Yeah.
It's, to me, and I have some friends who get mad at me and they say, why do you hate the Thunder so much? Stop being a Thunder hater. I'm like, honestly, if they're such a talented team, which they are, they've got all the talent with Westbrook healthy, and they really have a lot of talent. Why don't they win the finals every year? It's because of the offensive movement. Again, I want to say Phoenix just because I love Phoenix right now, but no. No. I'm going to go, because it's on the road, too, for Phoenix, so I'm going to go Phoenix.
Okay, next
I mean,
game.
OKC. My bad.
Okay, yeah, OKC. Okay. What about the Washington Wizards? A disappointing Washington Wizards at that against a Miami Heat team who's not looking too good. The reason I said Washington disappointing, they lost to Philly and Detroit. And I don't think they should have lost to Philly. This is a team, another team who has playoff aspects. And I don't know, they didn't look sharp to me when they lost those games.
I'm disappointed in Washington. You know what? I think Miami, they really have a sour taste in their mouth. Okay? And this game's at home too for Miami. I think there's a little bit of pressure there from Spoelstra now because you can't go to Philly and then lose and then come to Brooklyn and lose. Lose in Brooklyn, heartbreaking fashion, and in Philly in heartbreaking fashion. So I think they need to stop the bleeding, and they'll do that at home. They'll take care of business.
You think? You think it's going to be close? I mean,
I think they'll take care of. I think when I say take care of business, I'll go with, 10 to 15. 10 to 15.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair for the Wizards team. They're going 0-3 probably.
Okay.
0-3 for a team like them isn't very good. A team that has a lot of talent. John Wall may make the All-Star team this year if he plays to his potential. Okay, next game. Atlanta Hawks.
Uh-oh.
It's the LA Lakers.
I want to hear what you have to say for this one.
Well, the Hawks are not a team to mess with, as we saw yesterday when they beat Toronto. So they're a dangerous team. They can come anywhere and shock a team. I think the Lakers going to get this one though. I think Gasol is going to go for 20 and 15.
I agree. I actually agree with
we
you.
need Nash to play. Nash didn't play the whole fourth quarter of the game against San Antonio, so I don't know what's up with him. We need him healthy.
I'm going to go... I agree. You know what? The Lakers will win this game by a lot, actually, I think. I think the Lakers will win convincingly by 15. And I say this because I'm really... Look, I like Budenholzer, but that team, they're all over the place. And I think they're just going to beat him up inside with Gasol. They're just going to beat him up inside with Gasol. And Lakers take care of business after 2 disappointing losses. Well, the Warriors won, we knew, but the Spurs won. That was pretty close. And I think they really want to try to get back on track at home.
So while we're on the topic of the Lakers, Kobe Bryant has been a question mark for a long time. He's not going to return for another 2 weeks. So what do the Lakers have to do to just be able to stay 500? I mean, I feel like that's going to be a problem. Because Kobe said, and I quote, "I think this is a good start. This week was a good start. I was able to run pretty well, so I'll probably count this week," after saying he's probably going to need 3 weeks before declaring himself ready. He hasn't even started practicing yet. So, what do the Lakers need to do just to stay afloat? Just kind of do what Boston is doing right now, just to stay into the
No, Boston's not staying afloat. That's a sinking ship that will go down for a long time. You think Boston's staying afloat?
I mean, I think that's their goal. I think they're gonna sink fast though. I think Boston they may go 0-10 if they don't win a game. If they're scheduled, it's not very easy. So I think you can see. Don't be surprised if you see Boston going 0-10. Their next game against they got Detroit, and then they have Memphis, and then
you know what? The way Boston's playing, they could be one of the worst teams.
Oh gosh.
You know what? Yeah, I love the Celtics, but I can't get over the fact that Gerald Wallace said what he said.
So you don't think it needed to be said?
I think, you know what? I'm happy you said it now. If he had said it in March or February, it could have been worse. Could have been worse. Because now I think they have a chance to fix this. But if he said what he just said, I think yesterday, if he said it in February, March, there would be a team mutiny for sure. But saying it this early really helps.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think saying it now rather than later, people will just be, because they'd already, if he said it later, then people would just give up on the season. And, like, it's the boss, they might do bad, but right now, there's no guarantee. They could go on a 5-game winning streak. Jeff Green could average 30 in the next 5 games. You never know. Avery Bradley could actually start making some shots and not turning the ball over. Hey, he's on my fantasy team. He got me -1 points last game.
I'm hoping that keeps going down. I need a win. I need to win. My team's terrible right now. Just flat out terrible. I mean, I like my guys. I hope they do well, but I'm losing to Blake Devine. I can't say I'm Noah Taborda. I can't say the team name. Jordan, do you know his team name?
Yeah,
it's not. I can't say.
Be said.
Yeah, it shouldn't be said. When I first saw that team name. When I first saw his team name, I was shocked what he'd put. But I'm losing.
You're losing by like 60 points. But Cameron, don't worry, I'm losing by 52.
Okay, do you think I can come back? Anthony Davis right now, he's putting on a show in Charlotte. He's got 16 points right now, 6 rebounds, 4 steals. Okay, I need him to get a triple-double for me. I need Damian Lillard to go crazy tonight and drop 35 against San Antonio. And I need Gerald Henderson to start. Why does he have -1 point? Gerald Henderson, get 5 steals for me right now. And
who's been one of the most shocking fantasy players has been Spencer Hawes.
Yeah.
I mean, he has 19 fantasy points right now, and he has real points. He has Spencer Hawes. He has 12 points. He only has 12 points and 9 rebounds, but he's 5 for 7. But he's only got double it, but he's been efficient. I should have picked up. Ooh, Andrew Bynum, I think, just got me some points. Yeah, that was another thing I wanted to ask you. What do you think of Andrew Bynum actually returning the first game of the season?
I thought that was great for him to return. I think he could be a real impact. I'm looking forward to what he can do. I'm really looking forward to what Bynum can do from fantasy-wise or otherwise. I think he can really be a contributor, and maybe they can upset a team in the first round. Who knows in the playoffs? But they're on their way to big success in Cleveland. I really, deep down, think that they can be a championship contender next year.
Oh, wow.
Or 2 years from now. Maybe next year, nah. 2 to 3 years from now, I think they're a championship contender.
Big words from Cameron Sadeghi.
No, not 2 to 3 years isn't big. You think what do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. It's if they can get someone else, I don't think they can win a championship with their current team. I mean, Melo, they tried to get Melo, but he's a question mark. He said he wants to test free agency. Then he said he wants to retire.
If they get LeBron.
What does that mean, Melo? You said you want to go test free agency, and then you said you want to retire as a Knick. Those are literally two opposite things. You can't do both of them.
Okay, we'll get to the Melo thing. I just want to ask this. Hypothetically, if LeBron goes to Cleveland, they're winning, right? They're winning a championship.
Yeah, I think LeBron going to almost any team, they'll win a championship.
Well, I mean, he could do it for the Wizards. I don't know.
Oh, easily. The Wizards win a championship with him easily.
You think so? No.
Yeah, John Wall, Bradley Beal, LeBron, Gortat.
What's one team in this league that can't do it? I think Boston can't. Well,
I mean, it's possible, but Rondo would never play with LeBron.
yeah.
Maybe
So, like,
Charlotte. I don't think Charlotte would be able to.
yeah, I don't think.
It'll make them a playoff team, but they wouldn't win the championship.
Houston would be a dynasty if they had LeBron.
Yeah, that'd be crazy if they got LeBron. So, any final thoughts, Cameron, before we end the show? It's been a very long and productive show. Talked about a lot of things. We're going to try to do this every week. Do Fridays or Saturdays work better so we can get something consistent?
I think Saturdays probably. Probably Saturdays for me. Basketball season coming up I gotta give a shout out real quick. Chris Sylvester, I said retweet this and I'll give you a shout out. Retweet my tweet and he did. So he does the Bosco games here on National Sports. You know, they're doing a good job over there. Bosco and Modern Day playing. So, wow, I got 2 extra retweets. Connor Shaw, this guy, he plays high school basketball for the greatest high school basketball team in the world, the San Juan Hills Stallions, and Spencer Van, he plays as well. He's the next Karl Malone.
Oh my God.
Yes, he is. Trust me. He averaged 20 and 10 this scrimmage. We had 2 scrimmages, okay? He averaged 20 and 10.
Oh, wow.
In 2 scrimmages. Do you believe me?
I believe you.
I'm just kidding, but give a shout. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to my school, the Jesuit Marauders soccer team. They went 20-0 and 3 ties this year, and they're the #1 team in the nation. So just want to look out for them. They're really good, and yeah, that's pretty much it. 20-0.
I gotta say though, San Juan Hills Stallions, they have a good coach too. Coach Kelly Hambrick. So that team's looking good. I'm not kidding. Okay, this one I'm not kidding. There is a player getting recruited. I think I've already told you this. His name is Vincent McFadden. He's a great player. 6'6", I think. He can shoot, dribble, plays tons of positions. He's a great player, versatile. But Spencer Van, he's the next Karl Malone. Connor Shaw, he rains threes, dude. I mean, I've never seen a guy.
Cameron, is he the next Ray Allen?
Well, no, but let me tell you this: he can get buckets. He's got Carmelo-like ability from 3, and he gets to the rack hard. So I don't know if you want to doubt him. So
yes,
Stallions looking good in the paint with Cameron and Jordan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Spreaker. Thanks, Robert, for calling in. Thanks for bearing with us, caring for us, or not caring, or if you wanted to troll us, that's okay. We'll see you later, and like always, we'll see you next time.